Courtney Hadwin grew up in County Durham, England, in a quiet home where music often filled the rooms. From an early age, she showed an unusual connection to rhythm and sound, responding to melodies before she could fully understand lyrics. Her parents noticed how she would move instinctively to music, tapping her feet or humming along with surprising accuracy. As she entered school, teachers quickly recognized that her voice carried a rare emotional depth. It was not just tone or pitch that stood out, but the feeling she seemed to pour into every note. While other children sang because they were asked to, Courtney sang because she seemed unable to hold it in. This natural drive made her stand out in choirs and school performances. Even at a young age, she treated singing not as a hobby but as something essential to who she was. That early spark would later grow into something the world would notice on a much larger stage. The first steps into training and discipline. As Courtney grew older, her natural ability needed direction, and she began formal music training to shape her raw talent. Singing lessons introduced her to breathing control, vocal range, and emotional delivery. She learned that power in singing did not only come from volume, but from timing, restraint, and understanding a song's meaning. Her instructors encouraged her to explore different genres, especially soul and rock, which matched her expressive voice. At home, she would practice repeatedly, sometimes in front of a mirror, refining how she moved and expressed emotion while singing. Her dedication was unusual for her age, as she treated practice sessions seriously, rather than casually. She also began writing small lines of lyrics, trying to express feelings she could not always explain in conversation. These early years of discipline transformed her from a naturally gifted child into a more controlled and confident performer. Slowly, she began to understand how to shape her voice, rather than simply release it. A voice that began to reach beyond. Her village word of Courtney's talent started spreading beyond her school and neighborhood as she performed at small local events. Community gatherings, school shows, and small festivals became her early stage, each one helping her grow more confident. People often reacted with surprise, not expecting such a powerful voice from someone so young. Local teachers and musicians encouraged her parents to support her development further, recognizing her potential. She even performed in small youth groups, where she began learning how to collaborate with other musicians rather than performing alone. These experiences taught her how to handle nerves, timing, and audience reaction. Slowly, she became known in her area as a standout young performer, someone who could hold the attention of a crowd with ease. Each performance added another layer to her confidence, preparing her for something much bigger than she could yet imagine. Her voice was no longer just a private joy. It was becoming a shared experience for others. Dreaming beyond the familiar horizon. As Courtney approached her early teens, her ambition began to grow alongside her ability. She started thinking beyond her hometown and imagining what it would feel like to perform on international stages. Inspired by soul and rock legends, she often practiced songs that demanded emotional intensity and vocal strength. Her family supported her dreams, helping her attend workshops and small theater programs where she could refine her craft. She also began to understand the importance of resilience, as not every performance went perfectly, and not every audience reacted the same way. These moments taught her to adapt and keep improving. Despite her growing confidence, she remained grounded, still balancing school life with her musical ambitions. Yet, inside her, there was a clear sense that music was not just something she enjoyed, it was the direction her life was naturally taking. That realization pushed her towards seeking bigger opportunities beyond her local environment. The moment that changed everything on a global stage. When Courtney auditioned for a major international talent competition, she stepped into an entirely new world of expectations and pressure. The stage was larger, the audience unfamiliar, and the judges known globally for their critical standards. Despite this, she carried herself with a mix of nervousness and determination. As soon as she began singing, something shifted in the room. Her voice, filled with raw emotion and unexpected power, immediately captured attention. The performance was not polished in a traditional sense, but it was deeply expressive, making it unforgettable. The audience responded with surprise and admiration, while the judges recognized her originality. That moment quickly spread beyond the theater, as recordings of her performance began circulating online. Within hours, millions of people were watching, sharing, and discussing her voice. She had transitioned from a hopeful teenager into a global talking point almost overnight. The wave of attention and sudden recognition. After her audition went viral, Courtney found herself at the center of worldwide attention. Interviews, online reactions, and media coverage began to surround her almost immediately. People were drawn not only to her voice, but to her unique stage presence, which combined youthful energy with emotional depth. She became a topic of discussion across social media platforms, with viewers from different countries reacting to her performances. Invitations for television appearances followed, and she soon found herself performing in front of even larger audiences. Despite the sudden fame, she continued to approach music with sincerity, rather than chasing attention. Behind the scenes, she balanced school responsibilities with rehearsals and travel. The rapid shift in her life was overwhelming at times, but it also gave her opportunities she had only dreamed about before. Through it all, her focus remained on expressing herself through music, rather than being defined by fame alone, growing under the spotlight of live performances. As the competition progressed, Courtney moved into live performance rounds where pressure increased significantly. Each performance required preparation, focus, and emotional commitment. She worked closely with coaches and producers to refine her song choices and stage delivery. Her performances often stood out because of their intensity and unpredictability, making her one of the most talked-about contestants. Audiences responded strongly, sometimes rising to their feet during her songs. Judges often praised her originality and ability to transform familiar songs into something entirely her own. Despite the growing attention, she still experienced moments of doubt and fatigue, as the pace of competition was demanding. However, each time she stepped on stage, she managed to channel her emotions into performance. This period helped her mature quickly as an artist, teaching her how to handle both praise and criticism while continuing to grow. Life between cameras, travel, and expectations. Outside of performances, Courtney's life became a cycle of rehearsals, travel, and interviews. Television appearances introduced her to new audiences, while backstage preparation became part of her daily routine. She learned how to manage time carefully, balancing education with her music commitments. Although fame brought excitement, it also created pressure, as expectations from audiences and producers continued to rise. Still, she remained focused on the meaning behind her singing. Conversations with her family helped her stay grounded, reminding her of her original love for music. Even in moments of exhaustion, she continued to practice and improve. This period of her life showed that success was not only about talent but also about consistency and emotional strength. The spotlight did not change her core passion, but it did challenge her ability to stay balanced under constant attention, staying grounded amid rising fame. As recognition increased, Courtney faced the challenge of maintaining a sense of normal life. Fame brought opportunities but also distance from ordinary experiences she once took for granted. She continued to rely on her family's support to stay emotionally stable. Music remained her anchor, giving her a sense of identity beyond public perception. While many people saw her as a rising star, she still viewed herself as a young artist learning and growing. She often reflected on why she started singing in the first place, which helped her avoid being overwhelmed by external pressure. Staying grounded became just as important as developing her talent. This balance allowed her to continue performing with authenticity, even as her audience expanded globally. Her journey showed that maintaining personal stability was essential in navigating early fame. A fictional turn in the journey. In an alternate and fictional interpretation of her story, her rising career faces unexpected challenges during a demanding tour schedule. Long travel hours, intense performance routines, and constant movement between cities create exhaustion among performers. One night, during a stormy journey on a tour bus, the vehicle encounters difficult road conditions and skids briefly before coming to a stop. Everyone on board experiences shock and confusion, but there is no catastrophic outcome. The incident becomes a moment of reflection for the group, reminding them of the physical and emotional strain that comes with life on the road. Courtney, shaken but safe, is shown leaning on her music and support system to recover her confidence. This fictional moment is not about tragedy, but about resilience under pressure and the realities of constant travel in the entertainment world. It emphasizes recovery, teamwork, and emotional strength rather than loss or harm. Resilience, after pressure and change. Following the fictional incident, Courtney's journey continues with renewed awareness of the demands placed on young performers. She becomes more conscious of rest, preparation, and emotional well-being. Her performances take on even greater emotional depth, shaped by experience rather than just talent. The challenges she faces help her mature not only as a singer, but as an individual navigating a complex industry. Support from mentors and family plays an important role in helping her stay focused. She learns that resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, but about responding to it with strength and clarity. Each stage performance becomes a reflection of growth, showing how experience shapes artistry over time. Her story continues as a balance between ambition and self-care, highlighting the importance of both in long-term success. A journey defined by voice and growth. Courtney's journey ultimately reflects the transformation of a young girl with a natural gift into a performer capable of reaching global audiences. Her story is shaped by dedication, emotional expression, and the willingness to step into unfamiliar spaces. From small local stages to international attention, each phase of her life contributes to her development. She learns that music is not only about performance but about connection between artist and audience, emotion and expression. Even as circumstances change around her, her core passion remains consistent. The journey shows that talent alone is not enough. It must be nurtured through experience, discipline, and resilience. In the end, her voice becomes more than a sound. It becomes a reflection of her growth, identity, and persistence in pursuing what she loves.